Hello and welcome. My name is Will Templin. I'm with Total Wines Concierge Sales, and I'm joined by a special guest, Gilles de la Bastière, President of Champagne de Venoge. Welcome, Gilles.
Thank you, Will. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm very happy to be with you today, and I can see that you're almost in the Venoge.
Almost, yeah. Thanks to you and your team here and the magic of virtual events, I can join you right outside the gates here of de Venoge. That's very awesome. I really appreciate it. So today we wanted to focus in on two new items to your portfolio. And we also wanted to showcase some really exceptional stemware that you guys have there at de Venoge. And so I'm going to step away from this beautiful palace for a little bit here so I can just show you some of these bottles that we are going to be trying. So the first one is going to be the Grand Vin France 2014. And then we're also doing the Grand Vin France 2014, the Rosé. And as I mentioned before, we are going to be trying with some exquisite glassware, so stemware, that is specially made for de Venoge. This is awesome. Before we get into the tasting, though, Gilles, I wanted to kind of pick your brain about where you come from, where your roots are, how you got to be in this incredible position of being the president of de Venoge. I heard somewhere that you were actually born in New York.
Exactly. Actually, I'm the most American of the Champagne House president. I was born in Hornell, New York, upstate New York, in 1972 because my father was working for an American company there, and so I have the chance to have an American passport, and so also my family fight during the War of Independence. So I'm also a son of American Revolution.
Wow!
And so I have a very long history personally with America, and I really love America. My two sons, my oldest boy study in Penn State in Philadelphia, and the second one is leaving tomorrow for Gonzaga in Spokane.
Right.
And I know that you have a store in Total Wine store in Spokane, so I'm sure I will go there to make a tasting one day.
That'd be great. Awesome.
So yes, you talk about the glasses and about the house. The house also, Champagne de Venoge, has a very long history with America, as I told you before.
Yeah, if you can go into that history, expand it, because there is so much of de Venoge that we need to learn about. And I don't know if you can compress it in the time we have, but that would be great.
We'll do as quick as possible. As I told you, the two sons of Henri-Marc de Venoge, the founder of the company in 1837, Marc and Léon, went to America in 1842 to open importing company, but also to try to produce sparkling wine in New York State. So they tried, but unfortunately the quality was not there. So they prefer to sell champagne there in America. And the funny thing, you still have a little town in Sullivan County called de Venoge, and a lake called de Venoge also. So a very long history with America. And also de Venoge, was a proud partner of the Universal Exposition in New York in 1852. We have a label for that, and also in Philadelphia in 1876. So it's a very long history. You talk also about the glasses, which are the why we are here today. Behind me, you can see the portrait of Louis XV, which is the King of France.
Yep.
It's thanks to who the champagne exists, because in 1728 he authorized the bottling of champagne, and only the bottling of champagne. That's how champagne started. You have the first house was Champagne Ruinart in 1729, then Champagne Chanoine in 1730, which is one of the brands that you also have in Total Wine stores.
Yes.
So our prestige cuvée is called Louis XV, and you also said it. So the glass, I had the idea to make this glass in 2005, because at that time, you know, champagne was served in flute.
Correct.
You know, I think for the quality of the champagne, it was not the best. And I was going very often in Italy, and in Italy, they were drinking champagne in wine glasses. And in a very big wine glasses, you know, red or white.
I've done that myself. I've done that myself. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, I found it was really, really nice, and I had the idea to produce these glasses, which actually it was, the design was quite simple. I took the bottle and I turn it on. So
That's
every
great.
time I have some people asking, "Oh, I love those glasses," you know, that, and I said, "Oh, it's a very famous designer. It's myself." and so what's funny, it's happened to be very, very good for tasting also, because the shape of the glass bring all the flavors in the middle of your nose, because with the curve you have on the top of the glass,
Right.
all the flavors come right in the middle, and so you really have fantastic flavors. Also, you don't lose as much bubble as you will lose in a coupe. You know, in the 1900, you had the very open glasses, and so we can say this glass is a mix of the flute and of the coupe in the same times. And it's give you also the opportunity to really taste champagne, because at Champagne de Venoge, we think champagne is a wine, and to produce great champagne, you have to produce a great wine. And so with a glass like this, you really can enjoy your champagne. And not only Champagne de Venoge, you can drink other champagne in this glass, but of course, Champagne de Venoge would be better.
Of course. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. And the glassware itself, you were starting to bring this in to the States here in these new deluxe packagings of 6. And I kind of wanted to show off this nice box. I see you have something there in the background as well for you.
Yeah, I can show it also.
But yeah, it comes in this really exquisite Louis XV blue box.
Yeah.
And then you have the inside open there.
Inside, you show the outside, I show the inside. So you have 6 glasses, which is quite nice also, because you can bring that to the table. You know, when you have some friends for the aperitif, you bring your box to the table, and you can put the glasses on the table. And really, I have to tell you, people really enjoy that. It's really like it was served, you know, in the 1900 in the top coffret that can be shown during your aperitif and when you welcome your friends. So that's
the box is exquisite. The nice fleur-de-lis Louis XV right on the front there. So yeah, that's very, very awesome. So I think we should start getting into a tasting with these glasses and see how that looks. So I'm gonna travel down to your cellars here. Again, thanks to the magic of your team and the virtual. So I'm now in the cellars, and I'm going to start with the Blanc de Blanc, correct?
Ah, fantastic! You are in the cellar. So we start with the Blanc de Blanc 2014.
Yes.
Which I'm going to open.
So Gilles, I'm familiar with the Prince line. Is this your first vintage?
So no, Grand Vin des Princes. You know, Grand Vin des Princes was the first vintage of Grand Vin des Princes was in 1961 in this decanter bottle.
Okay.
You have to know that the history of this bottle is very, very old. In 1850, the royal family of Holland, Orange family, were drinking Champagne de Venoge, and they were decanting their champagne in a special decanter in crystal, which had exactly the shape of the bottle we have today. So in 1961, Mr. de Venoge had the idea to make directly a bottle which will look like a decanter. So you won't lose any bubble by decanting it. And so it will make a special bottle that you can show to your friends, and which will also be very elegant to serve. And so Grand Vin des Princes first vintage was 1961, and we stopped it. It was a prestige cuvée of the Venoge until 1993. And in 1995, we decided to as a tribute for the King Louis XV behind me, to make a new prestige cuvée called Louis XV, which is the same bottle but in a clear glass decanter that you are selling also at Total Wine.
Yep.
And we stopped in 1993, and a lot of people were asking for it because they were really in love with the Blanc de Blanc, and Louis XV is not Blanc de Blanc. It's a blend of 50 Pinot Noir, 50 Chardonnay. So we decided to produce again the Grand Vin des Princes Blanc de Blanc and Rosé in 2014. So since 1993, we didn't make any vintage of Grand Vin des Princes. So that's really the first new vintage of Grand Vin des Princes, which is, as I told you, a very old cuvée.
And could you explain for those watching the difference between a non-vintage champagne and the vintage champagne? What those differences are, and what you're not only in the process, but the taste profile that you're expecting.
Very good question. In Champagne, we are lucky because we can blend different years. That's called non-vintage. It's when you have different years in your bottle. When you do a vintage, it needs to be only from the year 2014. For example, all the grapes are coming from 2014. If you take the Prince bottle, which is non-vintage, it will come from different years. One base year, which will represent 80% of the year, and 20% of reserve wine from the 2 previous years. So it's guarantee, a certain consistency into the brand, and sometimes people are looking for that. But when you really want to taste the taste of the vintage, it's very interesting to be able to do that. We only produce it in the top vintage. In bad vintage, we don't do vintage wine.
So the vintage is a rarity, essentially.
Exactly.
And you're only doing the best of the best to showcase that vintage.
Exactly.
Excellent.
So the Grand Vin des Princes Blanc de Blanc, it's 100% Chardonnay with 3 different villages. 70% is Ménil-sur-Oger, which is a Grand Cru on the Côte des Blancs, which is a Grand Cru with a particularity of being very mineral. So it will bring a lot of minerality.
Okay.
20% of it is from Trépaille, which is Premier Cru on the Montagne de Reims, which normally we produce Pinot Noir there. So it produced Chardonnay with a lot of character, with a little bit orange flavors and orange flowers and things like that. And 10% from Vertu, which is a mix of the two, a balance of minerality and balance of richness also. And so it makes a wine which will be very good to drink now, but even good to drink in the next 20 years. It's
right.
Really very long aging possibilities on that.
Right. Excellent.
Also, you have to know that the bottles are numbered. We produce 9,835 bottles. If you look on your back label, you have the number of your bottles.
Yep, I have it right here.
And you also have in Roman letters D20, which means disgorged in 2020.
Okay.
We put the year of disgorgement because for people who collect, it's very important to know when the bottle was disgorged. And so they can say, this bottle was disgorged 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And also the dosage, which is written there, 6 grams per liter, which is the lowest you can do on the brut, is between brut and extra brut, right at the balance of brut and extra brut. So it's not high dosage, but it's not also dosage zero. We always put a little bit to balance the wine, and so we are very happy also because this bottle was tasted by James Suckling a few months ago. And we had a very nice score of 96 points by James Suckling, which is quite a success for this wine.
Yeah, I think these are great additions to the label to let connoisseurs and folks that are really into champagne know that disgorgement and again the grams on the dosage. It really helps because a lot of the labels, Brut means what is the range of Brut again? It goes from
Brut
anywhere.
Brut is from 6 to 12.
To 12, right?
And 6 gram to 12 gram.
Right.
And you know, I prefer to put Brut on the bottle, even if we could call it extra Brut, but because some people are afraid of extra Brut because sometimes they have tasted some Brut Zero, which are a little bit aggressive. Mm-hmm. And so I prefer, you know, not to communicate too much on extra Brut because it's something sometimes a little bit complicated.
Excellent. Shall we taste in these wonderful glasses? Yes.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay to everybody.
Cheers.
No. So what comes first is, you know, the minerality of the champagne, also the citrus, you know, citrus, also some flavors of grapefruit flavors.
Yeah, I'm struck by the acidity, the richness. You know, you mentioned that this is something that you can lie down. I'm just getting a nice full flavor on the palate with really great backbone acidity.
Exactly.
And those flavors are.
And if you keep it a little longer, you know, you will have some flavors like bread flavors, coffee beans, things like that with the evolution. And but you know, it's champagne is very, very nice to drink for the aperitif, but it's also a wine that you can have for a whole dinner, you know. And it's something we do in Champagne, and we do also, a lot of people do it also in Italy. They are used to drink champagne with their meals, and it's something we should develop because it's very nice. And also at the end of the dinner, when you had a lot of dishes and wine, you feel much better than if you had other wines, because with the bubbles, you know, it's like it's helped you for the digestion.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago from one of my wine buyers that you always keep a bottle of champagne in your fridge ready to go. It's not just for celebrations. It's for, you know, it could just be a nice day and you deserve it, or it's a nice meal that you're having. And like you said, you can have a champagne like this throughout the entire meal. So I always keep at least 2 bottles in the fridge ready to go.
That's very good. And I'm sure you drink it not too long, but don't keep too long your champagne in your fridge, because if you keep it too long, the cork will shrink. You can keep it 1 week, 2 weeks, it's not a problem. But if you keep it 2 or 3 months, the cork will shrink because of the cold, and you will get all the flavor or all the smells that you will have in your fridge. So don't keep your bottle, but I'm sure yourself, you keep it, you put it in your fridge, and 1 week later, it's
1 week. Yeah, I'm good with the 1-2 week limits here. I'm good.
Other things that people think, you know, you don't need to put a silver spoon in an open bottle, because it doesn't work. It doesn't keep the bubbles inside.
And the bubbles here, I'm just looking at the bubbles, nice, small, exquisite, and they just keep coming in this glass. It's great. Also, in this glass, you have to know that we do some holes, laser holes at the bottom of the glass, because what brings the bubbles, it's the little defect in the glass. So as we didn't have any defect, we reproduce it with a little laser, and we do laser holes, and that which will make the bubble flown on the glass, which is very important. So it will make a nice cordon of bubbles. You have to know also that the bubbles will be thinner with Chardonnay than Pinot Noir, and also the bubbles will get thinner when the wine will age, when the champagne will age. So that's very important for you to know. Excellent. Yeah, this is just amazing. And something like this, you let it sit out in the glass for a little bit, it changes. Completely. You know, those complex champagne, vintage champagne, what I do, I know people don't think about that with champagne, but
you should open the bottle 10 minutes before. Because the champagne needs time to breathe. You keep it in, you let it in the bottle, and then you serve it. The perfect temperature for champagne is between 8 and 12 degrees. So when you take it out of your fridge, it's around 4, but you keep it 10 minutes and you serve it, it will be between 8 and 12. So that would be the perfect temperature for service.
This is great information. I appreciate it, Gilles. Yep. Well, I'm going to let that one set aside. Should we move on to the rosé?
Of course. So the rosé, I will open the bottle.
And here's the bottle. And again, I'm looking at the back. You put the year of the disgorgement.
Yeah.
Put 6 gram on there as well.
We put the number, and it's even lower production. You know, it's really limited because we produced 4,816 bottles.
Yep.
And the dosage is also 6 grams per liter. So, santé.
Cheers.
So it's compared to the other one, this one is 100% Pinot Noir. You know, the idea was to really produce 2 completely different champagne, one 100% Chardonnay, the other one 100% Pinot Noir. Champagne, as you must know, is the only region in France where you're allowed to blend white wine and red wines to produce a rosé. In the 70s, in the 80s, a lot of champagne houses were producing rosé de saignée, which were made by letting the grapes with the juice, and it was giving the color. Because, you know, as you know, Pinot Noir is a red grapes with white juice. But if you keep the juice with the grapes, it will give the color. But in champagne, we don't want that because it gives some tannins, and that take out a little bit of the elegance you are looking for. So at Champagne de Venoge, we only produce champagne by adding red wine to white wines, which make it, you know, very delicate, very elegant champagne. So this champagne is 100% Pinot Noir from 2 villages. 70% is from Verzenay, which is a Grand Cru village on the Montagne de Reims, which is considered as the most elegant Pinot Noir you can find in Champagne because it's north facing. So it's not, you don't have too much, you know, concentration. And so it gave you a very elegant Pinot Noir. And 30% is from the south of Champagne in the Aube region, in the city of L'Hérissé. L'Hérissé, it's very well known. If you do a sommelier course, it's a village that all the sommelier knows because this is the only village in France with 3 AOC, with 3 AOC, 3 appellations d'origine contrôlée, with Champagne, Coteaux Champenois, which is red wine and white wine from Champagne, and also a wine called Rosé d'Hérissé. Is a is a wine without bubbles, made since the 16th century, and it's a rosé made with Pinot Noir from this city. So it's a very interesting village, which will bring much more, you know, richness to the blend, and it's also a city where we produce top red wine. So this we put 6% of this village to make it rosé, to make the champagne rosé.
Excellent. And I'm looking at the color. It's just a nice salmon color here. Really, really beautiful, pretty. I love rosé. Just looking at it and just smelling it is amazing for me. Again, lots of those little bubbles.
Yeah, the bubbles are very thin also, and also we have all the fruits which are coming from the red wines. You know, strawberry, a bit red berries also. Very interesting, very elegant. You know, very often the problem of Pinot Noir is it's very heavy and you don't want to take another glass. Here, you know, it's very elegant, and you really want to you really enjoy it, and you really want to have more.
Yeah, and I would say greater backbone than the Blanc de Blanc, just a little bit more structure here.
Exactly.
That rosé, and oh, this is amazing. And going back to what you said, this is something that you can lay down and let age.
Exactly.
Beautifully. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
awesome.
It's Pinot Noir that will be able to age, and it's important also to. That's why also it was disgorged, a year ago,
Hmm.
and those wine needs time after disgorgement. When you put Grand Cru, Premier Cru into your blends, you need to have at least 1 year of disgorgement, which is very very important. And you can even keep it longer if you like, champagne with evolution. You will have a little bit less elegance, but it will be more. It will be richer and interesting also in with a lot of flavors. Yeah.
And one thing I did forget to mention, and I'll get out of the cave for a sec. These do come in elegant boxes.
Exactly.
So it's quite the presentation getting these champagnes. Not only do you have the elegant bottles, the decanter style bottles, but you have a wonderful box and package to go with it for both the Blanc de Blanc and the Rosé.
Yeah. And the rosé, I was talking about James Suckling. He tastes also the rosé, and he put also even better score. We had 97 points with the
That's
rosé.
amazing. That's
So,
amazing.
I think those bottles are really collector because it's the first time that the Venoge put the number of the bottle on the back. And, 5,000 bottle of rosé, it's very little, very little. And I know that Total Wine has a little bit of it. So you should take it when it's time,
Yes.
when you still have some, but it will go very, very fast, seeing
Yes.
the rate. Yeah.
I've always learned that you have your regular non-vintage that has a certain production. When you do a vintage, it lowers, and then when you do a rosé, you have even a lower amount to work with. And
Exactly. Of course, when you go for Grand Cru, it's of course more complicated to get,
Mhm.
and of course you have less bottle. But you were talking about non-vintage. Where the Venoge produce a great non-vintage called Cordon Bleu. You have a blue ribbon on the bottle, and for me, it's very important. The quality of the non-vintage gives you a lot of information on the quality of the house. If the non-vintage is good, it means that the rest of the house should be fantastic also. And the Cordon Bleu of the Venoge is rated very high ratings, 91 points by Parker, Wine Spectator, James Suckling, and so it's very consistent and very very high quality. Also, you can find it also at Total Wine, also with half bottles very soon, because I think you order some half bottles a few months ago. So
I I
that's great.
had one last question regarding the stemware. So now that I enjoy my bottle,
Yeah.
um, and I enjoyed it with some friends, some family, this glassware, what's the best way to clean it? What's the best way to clean the
It's
stemware?
very important. That's a very good question, because a lot of people put it with a lot of soap, and product on it. And if you want to still have your bubbles, it's very important that you clean it with as little as cleaning product as possible, because what's take away the bubbles when you serve it is those products. So the best way is to clean it with clear water, to be honest,
Okay.
uh, or to rinse it a lot, because you don't want any cleaning product on your glass, because you will lose your bubbles.
That's
And
very
the
good to
best
know.
way is to do like this. Yeah.
That's
And
very good to know.
so, we do it here. We have a fantastic bar at Champagne de Venoge. We do it with a very little product, and also very hot, so we don't have any bacteria. And so we keep the bubbles in the glass, and we don't lose it because of the cleaning product. Yeah.
And I just wanted to let our audience know that we are currently all three are available. The Blanc de Blanc, the Rosé, and this 6-pack gift set of the stemware is available
Yeah.
through the Concierge Sales website. That's at concierge.totalwine.com. and we're running special concierge pricing available through September 12th. So you can get all three. And again, the pricing is just ridiculously good, especially with the high quality that you're getting in every single item here. So just, I wanted to let everyone in the audience know that it is available here in the States, limited quantities, but it is available.
Yeah, I think it will move very fast. Also, last little details, which is funny, on the bottom of the glass, if you look closely, you have it's written Louis with 3 points on the high, and this is the original signature of the King Louis XV, which was crowned in 1722 in Reims Cathedral, and we will have next year the 300th anniversary of the crowning of Louis XV. So De Venoge will make a very big event of that, and it will be very important for us because it will be the 300th-year anniversary of the crowning of Louis XV. So you won't be at the crowning, but you will have his signature on your glass. So that's something.
That's great. That's wonderful. Well, thank you, Gilles. This is an amazing. You explained so much. There were so many different little facts in there that I didn't even know, and this is great stuff. Blanc de Blanc, Rosé, 2014 vintage, Grand Vin de Prince, and then we have this great Louis XV stemware now available, 6 packs. You're knocking my socks off here with all this quality. So thank you, Gilles.
Thank you, and I hope to see you in Epernay one day.
Not just the real gates. Of the gates.
So it will be a pleasure, and I hope I will see you also maybe one day in Bethesda, because it's funny, my parents-in-law were living in Bethesda.
Okay.
Because my father-in-law was a general manager of Lafarge concrete company in America, and they were living in Bethesda. So everything was, with Total Wine and De Venoge, it was something that should happen.
Yeah, come on down. This is awesome. This is great. Would love to meet you in person. Excellent.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you for your time. Very, very well. Thank you.